Alaska, that territory northwest of America, more than 1 million square kilometers. If Germany, Poland, and France came together, they would barely manage to reach the size of this state. If it were an independent nation, it would be the 18th largest country in the world. Alaska has 100,000 glaciers and huge forested areas where wildlife proliferates. In addition, it has more than 10,600 kilometers of coastline. That's more than the rest of the United States combined. These beaches are full of marine animals such as killer whales and seals, but also underwater monsters. Alaska's Kodiak Island has witnessed many times what appears to be a real sea monster. At first, one might think that's a misunderstanding, but when several groups of people over the years begin to see the same thing, it begins to get disturbing. In 1969, the crew of a shrimp boat called Mylark was fishing near Kodiak Island. It is said that with their echo sounder, a state-of-the-art device capable of measuring the distance between the ship and the submerged objects, they captured a very strange object at a depth of 100 meters in the shape of a dinosaur. Yes, a dinosaur. The subject was written about by a local newspaper, but it was taken more as a joke than anything. However, 2 years later, in 1971, another group of fishermen saw something similar. The sailors reported that a creature more than 30 feet long had come to the surface. It had a horse-like head with 2 nostrils through which it expelled water and air, similar to a whale. The most detailed and disturbing sighting on record, however, occurred in 2002, when a fishing vessel was suddenly dragged by the very nets that the sailors had just released a few minutes before. It was about an hour before sunrise, and the crew had barely been asleep for a few hours. The pull took them completely out of the dream state they were in. The interesting thing is that it wasn't a short pull. Instead, the boat moved about 800 meters. Luckily, the helmsman, a veteran sailor, was able to control the course of the ship so as not to hit any floating trunks. Then, the thing that was dragging the boat pulled its head out of the water, rising several feet thanks to a neck 5 feet in diameter. The skull, like the creature seen in '71, was like that of a horse, only with 2 huge nostrils. To the surprise and relief of the 3 sailors, the creature didn't even bother with them. It made no eye contact. When the crew let go of the net and the monster was free, it simply disappeared into the depths of the waters without making the slightest noise. A year after the events, the crew stayed in the water one day to clean the boat. The captain was crouched, scrubbing the fish bags, and the other 2 crew members were pulling a net. At that moment, something hit the boat from below, shaking everything abruptly. The ship did not use an engine that could cause a failure, and it could not have been a whale, as it had been confirmed that there were none in the vicinity. The blows were repeated a few more times. In the end, however, they ceased. The 3 sailors never knew what hit them, but they couldn't help but think of the monster they had seen a year earlier. Many compare this creature to the Loch Ness Monster, although it has not yet been given a name. And in fact, the similarity to a dinosaur, specifically the Plesiosaurus, is almost obvious. Oval body, long, slender neck, small head, and large turtle-like fins. Lake Iliamna is the largest lake in Alaska, with about 1,630 square kilometers and almost 500 meters deep. It is a tourist destination for lovers of fishing and kayaking. Lately, however, salmon fishing is not the only thing that has caught the attention of travelers and locals. There are legends that date back to before the colonization of this territory, which say that there was a monster called Tlingit in Lake Iliamna, which attacked the canoes of travelers and faced warriors. The Indians, who took this creature for divinity, sent offerings to the lake to appease their anger. To this day, there have been so many sightings of this presumed monster, which make us believe that the legends were based on something very real. In fact, many biologists claim to have seen it, claiming that it easily exceeds 32 feet in length and has an opaque, aluminum-like color, although others say it is black with a silver stripe on its head. Many revivals of sea monsters have taken place in Alaska. One of them occurred in June of this year. A group of children saw in the distance a creature of gigantic size that looked nothing like a whale. 2 days later, the children's story was confirmed, as the creature was seen again near Kakanak, a village on the edge of the lake, Only this time, there were many people who corroborated it. Gary Nielsen, a native of Kakanaak, passed the information to the radio, saying it was not only one monster, but 3, and they were swimming following the greatest. The latter was supposed to be 66 feet long. The being opened its huge mouth and spat a jet of water through the air, and its 2 companions did the same, giving an incredible spectacle to the spectators. According to Gary Nielsen's report, they were black or very dark gray. What highlights this sighting of many others is that there were at least 6 adults and several children present. In addition, 2 of the elders had binoculars, so they were able to see the event perfectly. Many decades earlier, Stu Ramstead, a tour guide who was obsessed with the monster Gona Cadet, had established fishing lines in certain areas of the lake to catch the monster. His method was to use floating gallons, like buoys, holding special giant hooks. For a few days, he had no results, but after a while, he found something very strange. He did not catch Gona Cadet, but the buoys with the hooks were not where he had left them anchored, but scattered along several kilometers of the coast, totally crushed. They did not seem to have reached that state because of some bite, but because of the pressure caused by having dived very deep into the lake. Countless hypotheses have been formulated about what dwells in Lake Iliamna. The most likely is that they are sturgeons, a fish species that coincides with some of the characteristics attributed to the monster Gona Cadet. However, sturgeons never grow as large as 13 feet. Another theory alludes to the Pacific sleeping shark, whose way of swimming is very similar to what has been recorded in the sightings. However, no one has ever confirmed the presence of this type of shark in Lake Iliamna. However, until now, no one has been able to give absolute proof of the existence of an unknown species in this river body, but the countless sightings are impossible to ignore. What do you think? Are there really unknown and prehistoric creatures swimming in the waters of Alaska? Or are they the product of people's speculation? And if they really do exist, then how many are there? Will they be dangerous? And with respect to the Kodiak Island monster, how did a prehistoric species like a plesiosaur survive to the present day?